All right, welcome once again, everyone. This is Eretmis Cyber Chat. We do this every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm Dr. Emmanuel Edu. I'm going to be the facilitator for this. And today I have Michael and Captain AJ, who are going to help me, going to be my co-pilots. Our guest tonight is Kwame, Kwame Odro. Kwame is one of our own. He's a former student and a current student in the PCI class. He's a working cybersecurity professional. He's going to talk to us about his experience, how he switched from the tracking business into cybersecurity, and how he almost tripled his income. Right. So there's a lot to learn tonight. I'm going to go ahead and pin Michael and Captain AJ also as well. But we will begin with cyber news like we did last week. So there is a lot of cyber news almost every week, but we just pick one or two, just the ones that we think, or the ones that Eretmis we think might be of importance to you, right? There is a lot. If you want to stay abreast with the industry, it's not really hard to find cyber news. Even if you just Google cyber news, there's a lot of news out there. Cybernews.com, Hotwire, there's like a whole list, right? So it's not that hard to keep up, with the industry. So we begin with cyber news. So welcome to Eretmis Academy. Eretmis Academy is the institution that holds the Eretmis Cyber Chat. I'm Dr. Emmanuel Edu. If you are not familiar with me, or this is the first time you are joining us, I'm a former captain of the United States Army, and I'm the founder of Eretmis Academy, and I'm the CEO of Eretmis Inc., a QSA company, PCI consulting firm based in New York. And we begin with cyber news. So we all know Twitter has been having issues with attacks. So Twitter has been having issues, breaches here and there, but they did an investigation, right? And what they came up with is that everything that has been put out there in the media, that data lost or data that is being sold on the dark web, they came up through their investigation. They said that it is not really data from them, data that was exploited from them. Is data from some other different source. So that is what they came up with, right? What else, or what really, if that data is probably if an independent investigator does this, we probably will be rest assured that it wasn't data from Twitter, right? So that is one of the big news. And the other one, or the last one that we will look at, is news from New York. So New York State, good news, they've increased their budget. They've increased their cybersecurity budget from, they've increased it by 35 million. So that means more jobs for cybersecurity professionals. And they did this because after checking the cybersecurity landscape, attacks are on the rise, or breaches are on the rise. And New York State is one of the states in the whole of the United States that spends much money on cybersecurity, right? They have a lot of cybersecurity programs that they've put in place. So that is good. But increasing budget by 35, that means more cybersecurity contracts for companies like Eretmis Inc., and then also more jobs for everybody else who wants to work in the cybersecurity space, right? So this is our contact, Eretmis. If you go to eretmisacademy.com, all our courses and everything else that we do for cybersecurity training is on there. If you've not already taken advantage of our free cybersecurity for beginners course and PCI for beginners course, please do. If you go there, it's free. It has a lot of insightful information in there. And then also check out our YouTube channel. We post our cyber chats on there as well. And we have a lot of good info on there. So on YouTube is Eretmis Academy. You'll be able to find us. So without wasting much time, I'm going to hand over to Michael and Captain AJ, and they are going to take the floor. And Kwame, we appreciate your time, and we are going to pick Kwame's brain and see exactly what he does on the job. So if you're not familiar with what cybersecurity professionals do on the job, Kwame will walk us through, and he'll walk us through his journey as well, where he started from and how he's been able to build himself up to this point. And, what will be his advice and what are some of the things he's doing at work, and how he's been able to end up. I know he's one of the rock stars at his job. He got promoted not too long ago to cybersecurity manager as well. He started off as a cybersecurity analyst, and now he's the manager who in a very short time will be employing people, so doing interviews and stuff. So I'm really excited about this. And most of you on here knows Kwame's story. So Kwame and his wife are both in the cybersecurity industry. Kwame's wife beat him to it. She got a job before Kwame, and now Kwame followed suit. But then Kwame is making more than she is. So it's good. Kwame was able to catch up and kind of overtook her. So Captain AJ, you can take the floor, and then Michael and Captain AJ are going to be my co-pilot. So Captain AJ, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Dr. Eddie. I mean, we are so excited. We didn't want you to take, kind of hijack the story. So appreciate it. Hey, bad news for Twitter, good news for New York, right?
Yep.
So today our goal is to interview Kwame, for him to tell us his journey to the audience through how he became a cybersecurity professional. So Kwame, we thank you for accepting this offer from Dr. Eddie and overall for Eretmis Inc. Kwame, the first question is, what did you do before your new cybersecurity job?
Hi, everyone. As Dr. Eddie said, my name is Kwame. I was in a university in Ghana, Matters University, and then I came to America just in search of greener pastures. So started working in a job that came my way. So I decided to go into the tracking school. So I just needed a job, just something to survive. So I hopped on driving the track, and that is what I did. So this opportunity came up.
That's good. That's good. Second question kind of, gears itself into the first response that you gave. But why did you decide to switch? Because from the story that I had, your wife got into the business before you did. So you were kind of skeptical. Can you tell us the reason why you switched eventually into cybersecurity?
Well, the whole story is my wife was already working good business. She was doing good. I brought the idea of trying to secure myself with a good job that will help me be a family man and then have time for my kids. So we were just looking to find opportunity, any school, anybody who could give us the knowledge to be cybersecurity expert or specialist or professionals. So I started looking around, and we came to a point that we just took this, we met a guy who was selling, as Dr. Du would say, he was teaching us a lot, but then I thought I was lacking the knowledge, because most of the time when I go to the interviews, I was not able to even answer most of the questions. So through that, I met Dr. Du, and then in the process, my wife too was just behind me. He didn't even sign up for the class. So not knowing that, she was just learning off my shoulders. And then before I knew, she wrote the exams and passed. And then I also decided once my wife was already gotten the exams, I have to also be able to pass. So I did it. And then she got a job and I didn't have a job. So I would sit down for the lady just to take control. So I decided to challenge her. And I made sure I get a job that I'll even get paid more than her. So that's how I decided, and I put in the work, and then this is where we are.
All right, Kwame, this is Michael here. I hope everybody can hear me. Kwame, everybody will agree you have a very interesting story, right? Sometimes switching careers becomes very, very difficult. People don't know where to start from. So can you walk everybody through pretty much how you started the process of switching from your current job into cybersecurity?
It wasn't that easy, but it was by determination that you have to go do this 24-hour job, which is very demanding, muscle-wise, lifting and driving all day. You cannot take a break, like go to the bathroom because you're driving, you're in the city. You should be able to make tight turns and stuff like that. So it was all attention. So when you come home, I bet you your energy is gone. But then you decided to still pursue the idea of being a cybersecurity professional. So I had to just bend the midnight candle, just learning at night with the support of Dr. Edu. Sometimes you give me some homework and he will see that I'm slacking and he will call me and I'll be asleep and he's like, hey, wake up. And then if you want it, it doesn't come easy. So through his effort and the support from him, he guided me through and I made it, but it wasn't an easy journey.
All right, I can imagine. So this is very, very important, Kwame. I'm sure everybody here wants to know how you discovered Dr. Edu. So pretty much there's a lot of boot camps out there, a lot of resources, but the question or the how people struggle to kind of figure out which way to go becomes a very, very big problem. So can you talk to the group here or the team here pretty much what did you do? How did you research? And when did you know that, you know what, this is the right boot camp for you?
So because we met a couple of people who said that they were teaching, the word was they were teaching cybersecurity. And then we didn't have the inside information as to what even is cybersecurity. It could be any JRC, it could be anything. But once the person said that he was teaching, we just took his word for it and decided to take the class. We paid the money, everything to the class. And then we got to know that we're lacking at the point where you go for the interview, they ask you, tell me about yourself, your 9 to 5, and the detail was not there. So we knew how much the work was paying, but just that we're not having all the knowledge. So we decided to search. And unfortunately, one day, I happened to hop on Dr. Edu with all his badges on his chest, and I said, no. For somebody to have this uniform and advertise himself as a teacher or somebody who is teaching a boot camp in cyber, you can't take America for granted to just advertise on that basis. So, and then that gave me the confidence. I came home, I told my wife, like, hey, let's take this chance again, because I've seen this man. I think he'll be trustworthy, because from the looks, I didn't even know he was a doctor or anything, but from his appearance and the way he was put up with his website and on his Facebook page, I just felt like, okay, let's give it a shot. So I came, we called him one night, and then I was like, no, he might not even reply. But my wife is like, well, let's see. And then fortunately, about 2-3 hours time, we saw, and I was like, oh, he called back. And then we were happy. He asked us questions that we could not answer, and he gave us some insight and we could say, okay, so we asked him, this is where we are. Do you think we have a shot? And he said, well, you're in the right hand. So if you are ready to put in the work, and then we promised him that we're ready to learn. And then through that, we got to where we are now.
That's a very good response. I bet you the discipline that Dr. Edu has gained from serving from the United States, definitely paid off. But overall, Eretmis' mission is actually to support each and everyone who is interested in cybersecurity. Well, Kwame, the next question. Without any cybersecurity background, can you tell me whether curriculum being offered at the schoolhouse can help you successfully switch careers? What were some of the things that influenced your decision to attend Eretmis Academy?
As I said earlier on, because of the previous class that we took with somebody that has more name in my head, we went to a couple of interviews, and there was one question that kept on badging me, like, I should be able to answer this question. But then I went to the interview, they asked the question I couldn't answer. And I came home and I was telling my wife, like, oh man, I think this is not any serious question that, but because I don't have the basis, I couldn't answer. So as we met Dr. Edu, and then I told him this question, at least I know for sure this is not something that I couldn't have answered, but because I didn't know what to say or whatever, I couldn't answer the question. So he just right there just answered it straight up. And I was like, oh, so this was just a simple thing. And then from there, I told my wife, like, you know what, for him even giving us this information and all that, I think let's better that we are just go with him. And then we decided to get committed with the little bit, and this is, and then that was it. That's how I started.
That is good precision for you and your wife. What was your strategy in terms of timeline or milestones in your career switching process, meaning switching from the track industry to the cybersecurity profession?
Strategically, wasn't like we didn't have any timelines. It was just that we needed help with Eretmis to give us some information and understanding of what we want to get into. So we got the materials from the school. We started learning it and then testing Dr. Edu whenever, calling him anytime. It doesn't matter. I could 2 a.m. I'll just send him a message or call him, and then by the end of by the morning there will be an answer, or he'll call up and be like, "Oh, this is what you meant. This is what we do." So we didn't really put a timeline to, but at the point we felt like if I pick a set of interview or a set of questions from one of the companies, I could really understand what they're looking for, what they're expecting. Then I started feeling like, okay, now I think if I could answer these questions. So one day I just told Dr. Edu, I think let's give it a shot and start looking for a job. So he helped out with the resumes, and we started putting them in, and through, thanks God, we secured one.
All right, Kwame, that was very, very interesting. So everybody knows, work-life harmony is very, very huge. Like work-life balance is very, very huge. Personally, it's one of my goals for this year, my New Year's resolution. How did you combine like work, family, your whole cybersecurity career? Like, how did that work out for you?
That was the toughest part of the whole career change. And then I knew I had stepped on something good, but I had to transform it to make it my own. Was something that I could not comprehend. Like I didn't understand how to really, after all this tedious work, set up and then be able to learn this. But still, Dr. Edu, I don't know, for some reason, this man was like angel to me. He will be calling you like 12, hey, Kwame, what's up? How's it going? So, and then what he has taught us the previous day, he will be asking you direct questions like, oh, so with this topic, what did you do? So these questions kept on pushing me, because I wouldn't be sitting down when he comes and asks me the question and I will not be able to give him the right answer. So I was like always eager. Okay, Dr. is going to call today. What is he going to say? And then he will throw the general question to you that you should be able to answer. Like, you know how he answers, he asks his question. So I was like enthused to just make sure whatever questions he brings on board, I should be able to answer, not knowing that he was just preparing me to secure a job. And then here I am. So he did it. He helped me out. It wasn't like time-based. It wasn't like the material he gave me, and he was the mystery hands just pushing me, asking me, and he got onto my head like, he's going to call. What are you going to say if he asks you this question? So at the point, we had our own questions set up that in case he comes in and then he has that question, I've already had the answer written down or just in my head. And then through that, I got prepared and I was able to answer most of my interview questions, and I secured something good.
Wow. I can tell that was very, very difficult combining all of that. So we all want to know, like, I know the training was very intense. You went to Eretmis Academy. You also, you have family, you have a wife, Sheila. Like, how were you able to combine all this together? Because some people, they are trying to get into Eretmis Academy, but they kind of scared how the workload is going to be, how to balance that with their family. Some of them have kids and stuff like that. How are you able to navigate all of that?
I will not say this one is a plan, but it's something that it came up. He kept on, Dr. Edu kept on like always calling us, or we just have to have a Zoom meeting with him. So we sat down and said, okay, let's cancel all activity instead of like parties or weekends. Even for almost about 6-8 months, we had not attended church. It was all Sunday, and Saturday was our full time of just going over all our materials. And then 2 hours every day before Dr. Edu calls us is when we sit down and then read between the two of us as to what this is, what could this be, and then so we kept on discussing before he calls us, and any day he calls, we were likely to have answered one of his questions. And then Sundays and Saturdays was a full day. We just sit down, go over the notes, play the videos, and through all these activities, and sometimes we started putting the kids asleep by 8. So all the time we had was just cyber, and then we made it.
Wow, thank you so much. Well, this actually leads me to my next question, right? Sometimes, when you go on like, LinkedIn, people sharing their stories, Facebook, YouTube, they go through a lot of training, right? But they cannot really transfer that to their current job. So going to Eretmis Academy, right? How well did his training prepare you for your current role?
Well, on that note, I would say that this is where the hands-on training came in very well, because there were some of the tools that these people were using my job that I had already encountered in the hands-on training. So generally when I started, anything that they were talking about, I may have had an idea about it. So when I come home, I'll just do more research, and then if it wouldn't come out, I'll just reach out to Dr. Edu again. Doctor, this thing that they were talking about, kind of like can't get it down. Or he's like, okay, go to this place, or this is the material, go over the notes over here. And then through his guidance, we were able to transition.
Well, Kwame, in my previous question, you did answer that you had no strategy trying to get in the timeline for transition process or switching your jobs. But this question is, how did you learn your first cybersecurity job? Now, I'm pretty sure you had a plan for that. You kind of applied so many, positions in different companies. Can you tell the audience how this worked for you in nailing your new cybersecurity job?
So the job came up with the, I would say this is like a format that I followed as to, at least in the day, we will put in like about 25 or 40 automatic application, just apply. And then out of that, every day we have like a 3 to 5 companies that we have to modify or adjust our resume to be similar to what they are requesting or they are looking for. So we get like, at least we did like about 10 applications that has to go with what they are looking for in line with my resume. And then the other ones would be just, sometimes I would just be parked somewhere, and all that I would do is like apply. I could apply like about 80 in a day. So that was the format that Dr. Edu gave us, and kept on doing that, giving that. And then through that, there was an agent that called up and said that, oh, they have this company that they are hiring for, the company is looking for. And it's not going to, they are not hiring through the agency, they just want the agency to just recruit for them, and you just go on board with the agency. So they wanted me to interview the agent. I had to interview 2 people at the agency, and then it was the next day the agency called me and said the director of the company wanted to speak to me. So we booked a time, and then I spoke with the director, for like about 1 hour. And then from there, I went like 6 p.m. I had another message from the agent telling me that the director wanted to meet me in person. And then I was like, oh, well, we have to make something up. So the available time that I could do was like 8 o'clock in the next day. And then we met in a restaurant down my area. We met like 8:45, and then we finished the interview around like 10:55. That was a long interview, one-on-one. He's sitting right in front of me, asking me questions, sometimes general knowledge about my personality. You throw a scenario out there. How do I think I could approach this? And then it was a chit chat, and for almost about 3.5 hours, the meeting came to an end, and I took off. And then around like 2 o'clock again in the afternoon, I had another call from the agent saying that they wanted to meet. They wanted me to meet the team. My director wanted to meet the team. That is the group that he works with. And it had to be either that same day or the next morning. And then I had the confidence because I knew what I was sitting on. So I just told them I wanted to meet them at 6 p.m. that day. And they were available. So they were a team of 5. So I met the whole 5 people on Zoom. The DevOps, architecture, all the network team and everybody was on the Zoom meeting asking their questions. And I was able to answer most of the questions. And they were even happy because we started, gelling right there, and they felt like, okay, I think you will be a good fit for our team. And the next day I had an email with an offer, and then I called Dr. Lee, like, Dr. Lee, there's an offer, what should I do? And he told me like, how's it? I said, then this is surprising, I can't even believe it. So it's like, we are not going to go back and forth with this. It's good money, so just take it for now. And then I took it from, so I didn't even go back and forth with it. The money was good. I just took it, and then we're still, that's the whole journey how I secured the job.
I would have done the same. Trust me. Dr. Edu keeps on preaching soft skills, right? To the audience, soft skills, you cannot play with it. I mean, you got technical skills, but always let your confidence and your other soft skills lead your role. Kwame, can you walk us through your day as a cybersecurity professional at your job? Dr. Edu did mention that you got the promotion. Now, I want you to kind of sync it together, how you started, how your day was, and now what is your expectation as a new manager in your new cybersecurity role?
I would say, fortunately or unfortunately for me, I happen to be the #1 personnel for the cybersecurity position in the company, because Dr. Edu would say they were bringing it here and there. So when I got in there, they really didn't have any structured format to go through. So I had to figure something out. So in a day, but basically what I do, they have like tons of tools that they use, and most of they also deals with third-party company vendors and stuff. So basically, when I come in the morning, I just have to check my calendar to see what meetings I have for the day, the ones that are more important that I have to really pay attention to. The ones that are not, I'll just reschedule, or just tell them that I won't be available, they have to reschedule. And then after that, I go to my emails, because mostly some of the alerts that comes in, I have to go through my alerts that comes in and then analyze the potential ones that have to be sent. I have to make a ticket. We use a tool by name Jira to create tickets. And then when the ticket is created, it's sent to the SOC team. And the same person, I have to make sure when the tickets are resolved, I have to also make sure that the tickets are resolved and back to the tech vendor who also gave us the alert to let them know that the issue has been remediated. So, or a resolved. And I have to update my job Jira ticket that this ticket has been resolved. And at the same time, go back to my email, respond to that ticket. And from that ticket, I have to also go into, they also create a ticket to me from their portal. So I have to go to their portal too, and then resolve that ticket that they created, and then go into their portal again, and then delete or say that this alert has been remediated. And then that is the whole journey for just an issue or alert that came in. And it's like in a day, I get like about, just for 1, 2, I get like about, I would say about 50 alerts. That is some just people logging from different places. Sometimes I've gotten to know that, okay, this name logs in from, there's a guy who logs in from Ghana. I think he was remotely from China. But our system is set to a point that if anybody who logs in from a different country, right, is alert us, lets us know that is either a legit person, is he a hacker or anything. So you should be able to follow suit to know who this person is he on duty? If he's not on duty, I have to also create a ticket to whether a news team or one of the managers to do an investigation. Who is this person assigned to a special duty in maybe Afghanistan, and he has to confirm to me, yeah, he's on duty. Then I have to go through the whole process again to do the same thing. So it's like, it's not a fixed or specific form of this is what I do a day based on what I have on my calendar and what pops out in my email. And then sometimes to you'll be there, and so there will be an alert that somebody has been removed from the multi-factor authentication, and you have to find out why is he having that thing. So you have to do like investigate or research to see who is this person, what is the reason why he's not using the two-factor. Is there a reason that maybe they are doing upgrade on his computer got lost, he got a new one, or somebody got into his system and they have to redo or rearrange or just set him up in a different way. So it's always like what comes in a day and what you have to follow suit to make sure it is resolved. So that is what mostly what I can say what the job is about. And then sometimes you have to also go over some of the policies that I've already been teaching us. I bet you like it looks like it's a lot, but we have to be able to understand how to put up a policy, and then what the policy says, and then is it endorsed yearly, because now we are about to do our PCI, and now we are preparing towards that. So if you don't understand what the PCI, what the requirements or what the goals are, then you'll be sweating. So it's a whole different stuff coming to you different day.
Wow. Thank you very much, Kwame. So, you know what? Just so you know, right, there are about 80 people on this cyber chat right now, 80 people listening to you today. I know people get hung up on all the technical stuff, right? When people think about cybersecurity, coding, cloud computing, like IAM, identity and access management, just talking about PCI DSS, MFA. So working with Eretmis Academy, right? What are some of the non-technical skills, or what most people call soft skills, really helped you in your current role? Because like I said, most people think about technical stuff. So what are some of the soft skills, working with Eretmis Academy? Because people here, they want to know how they can translate some of these soft skills into their current job. When we talk about the communication, emotional intelligence, working with different people's PowerPoint presentations. So can you please talk to us about that?
Okay, so on that point, I would say soft skills, it comes in different formats too, in a different ways. So at the point there will be how you communicate with people is a factor, because when I met the team, there were so many things that we're not doing that was not going on as I would expect, or as I've learned from Dr. Du. And then I was getting like oh, I wish why are they not doing this? Why is this not going on? Why is it this way? And then Dr. Du, I'll just sometimes talk to me like, calm down. Calm down. You are now the security guy. You should be patient and know how to tolerate the people. Don't try to be the one to attack or just try. You're a new guy in the system. You have to understand what company policy or company diplomacy is. So through all that, I was able to understand the concept and then know how to relate. I don't have to take things personal, but just understand that it's just the job and how I had to resolve some of the issues. And then I was willing to learn because as I met the team, there were so many tools they were using that I had not even heard of it, didn't know much about it, although I had taught us a lot. But then, especially one of my network guys told me, like, we have a lot of tools here, but we are looking for somebody who is willing to learn. If you teach you and you are willing to learn, then you go a long way. And then from the experiences from Dr. Du, he said, if you know somebody is willing to teach you, be the person's body. So this guy has helped me a lot. Anything that I reach out to him, hey, I'm trying to resolve this issue. I've seen this, and how do I go about this? And then he'll be like, okay, you do this, you do that, you do that. But through the soft skills is more than, I would say it's more than even most of the thought that we had that, oh, as a cybersecurity, I have to just be doing coding or anything. And one experience that I would tell everybody over here is that the job of cybersecurity in my role is to understand what needs to be done and how to delegate to people to help you solve the issue. It's not you that's going to go to the networking session and just try to see what this is or what that is. You just have to know this is not right. How do we solve it? So you have to set up a meeting with maybe a network team, and then you put the issue with them like, hey, we are seeing that maybe we're having this SSH, why for, and then why do we have this? And they will tell you a reason, whether it's a requirement by the company to have it in that way, or maybe they need a new version of it, or you know. So through the communications, we are able to relate to everybody, and I think I have no problem right now, and I'm going to learn a lot.
All right. Well, this leads me, like you kind of touched it, and this leads to me to my next question, right? We talk about tools all the time. We just talk about non-technical stuff. Now, let's talk about some of the tools, right? Of course, as a carpenter, you know, you need some drills, you need a hammer, you need a nail, right, to do your job. People, like I said, there are about 80 people on here. Can you talk to us about some of the tools that you currently use at your job so they can know? Okay, so as I already mentioned, there's a tool by name Jira, J-I-R-A, and then that is what we use for our ticketing. Whenever there's an issue that needs to be resolved, we put in a ticket form for record base, and whoever made the ticket and whoever will also respond to the ticket, so that in the future, if something happens, we know like, okay, this issue came up and we're able to, how this how we resolved it, and it is in our records. And then when it comes to a tool by name Proofpoint, Proofpoint is also used to scrutinize our email system. And then like in situations like if somebody sends personal information, PII, through the email, by PCI requirement, it's not allowed to be sending personal information like credit card or your social security number or any ID information like that. So this system is set up that anytime there's similarity or any form of information like that, this that system will, that tool will just quarantine that email. And once that email is quarantined, if say it's going from Michael to Dr. Du, and it's Michael who sent it to Dr. Du, it will not let Dr. Du have access to the email, but then it will send an alert to me. So one of my positions in the company, I read everybody. You are the CEO, you are whoever, I have access to everybody's email. And then I should be able to go in your email and read and find out why your email was quarantined. And sometimes you could see that they were trying to do a transaction
maybe trying to send credit card information, or somebody's information is emailed, and then I have to even go in and decide, okay, reading your email, is this something that I should allow you to go? Was it even per PCI requirements? I have to decide, okay, no, once there's a personal information in there, and then I will have to come to my email and send you an information that per PCI requirement, I cannot allow, you cannot have access to this email, but find another means that you can communicate with that person to secure that information that you want. So, and sometimes too, we get emails with some insult, the content is not appropriate, and then the system, the whole tool will also quarantine that, and then will send you that person, whoever is supposed to have received the email, will send you an email that you were getting an email from here, but it has been sent to your personal quarantine email. From there, they have alerted you, but you have the right to go over and look at it, or it's letting you know that the content is not good. So you should be prepared that whatever the content could be, it could be severe, or it could be any insult, anything. Then you have to decide. Then sometimes it will come to me that you have to also release it to somebody based on privilege that the person has. And then we have a tool Sophos. Sophos is also used to manage our endpoint in terms of like malware, phishing and stuff like that. It's supposed to alert us to know that, oh, somebody sending phishing email to somebody and it looks suspicious. So we have to go over, read it and look at it, where it's coming from, and then make a ticket for them to also resolve if there's a need. We have Veronis and many more, but these are the few that I will say due to time factor, I can talk about.
Thank you, Kwame. Thank you very much. The next question is very interesting. Most people on here would like to hear what kind of motivates you pretty much. So how has your transition to this new cybersecurity profession met your expectations so far? And this one, you can summarize it because we've had little pieces of your response, but I know you can gear it towards family expectation and more income, you know, freedom.
But you said it all. That's it. Because as a truck driver, I got to know like this is a job that you could do as a young guy when you have the energy. But when you get to like old age that you don't have the energy to be running around, what is the best way that you can enjoy your American dream? So I got to know like there are more opportunities when it comes to cyber. So I decided to get in, and the ability to work from home and take care of your kids and then relax. And so that was the homemade, and the money too is good. So that's basically what pushed me to get into cyber. And the security of the job too, you know, the future is bright. There's always, the world is changing into IT field, so the future is bright, and I decided to get in there.
That is great. That's great. Almost 250% raise in your income. Amazing.
Yeah.
What is your advice to anyone on here today who is looking to switch or transition from their current job, which is non-cyber, to a cybersecurity profession?
Can you just say it again 1 minute?
What will be your advice to folks on this webinar today that are looking to transition from their current job, which is non-cybersecurity related, to a cybersecurity job?
I would say, I will already say that, I would say that for you even being on this platform, you are like almost like about 40% up there, because the whole world is going this direction. And then I can say by next 5-10 years, if you are not cyber savvy, you'll be out of the game. So it is better to know where the future is going and be part of it than to sit aloof, and before you know, you are not part of the, you cannot keep up with where it's going. So I am happy that we have a Eretmis with Dr. Edu and then Dr. AJ over here being the GA to push us to where we are, because they are pushing it to the right direction. All that we need to do is to make sure we take the material that they are giving to us, and then the future is bright.
All right, Kwame. Yeah, you do have a very interesting story. And I'm sure when we say we want to continue this webinar, we can probably go on for the next 2 more hours, right? And we're trying to be a respecter of time. So I'll have one last question for you so we can hand it over to Dr. Edu. So this is just for you, from all your experience you've been through and everything. Any last words from your point? But I'm just going through the chat here. It looks like some people are dropping questions in here. Someone wants to know your job title, so if you can mention that, and also someone wants to know if you have a proud cybersecurity background. So they want to know your job title, and also if you have any proud cybersecurity or any IT background, and also your final words. It can be anything to the 80 people on here today.
Well, thank you very much. I would say I had no idea. I had no knowledge in cybersecurity. All that I knew about was what was in the street, as to they do coding, they do programming and all that, as we all know. And I never had, I never taken any classes or anywhere. I just come in like a new person who didn't have that much information as to what it is. So we were all just, we all heard that it's a good opportunity, and we decided to just pursue it. And this is where we are. And everybody on here, what I would like to say is that there are thousands of people out there teaching cybersecurity classes, but there's one out of the 1,000 that is the best. If you don't have that one and you stumble on anything, you will still go around and come back to this point before you can do what we are doing over here. So if you're here, all that I would say is take this class serious. There's a lot of information that we get from here, but take it serious. The few that you can get into your mind, keep it. And then what my strategy is, it doesn't matter where Dr. Du is. Even if it's 5 a.m. and he puts a webinar, or he says that there's a live video going on, I try to just be there. And I know at least I will not even leave that platform without getting something new that I never knew about it. So just be part of the family. Be happy you are here, and anytime you need help, reach out to anybody. If you can't, you will reach out to CyberGo to help out, which is Dr. Du, to just help us. So we are all happy to be here. We are all one family, and let's make this a dream come true. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Kwame. We really do appreciate your time. It looks like they want to know, before I hand it over to Dr. Edu so he can go on, can you tell everybody your current job title?
Well, my current job, my job title is cybersecurity professional. With the good money, that's it.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, thank you, everyone. So we'll hand it back over to Dr. Edu.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you, Michael and Captain AJ. So Kwame's job title, from what I know, Kwame started off as security analyst, right?
Yes, sir.
He got promoted now to security manager. So and Kwame is doing great things.
I'm not, you know why I'm not saying that? Because I still can't believe it. So I kind of like don't even want to say it.
Yeah, but Kwame is the manager who is going to be doing hiring very soon. So be on the lookout. If you're looking for a job, contact Kwame. He can probably hook you up. And we have some questions here, so we are going to give the floor to Mr. Walker is going to go, and then Brian, Mr. Wright, and then Pat, and Elikum, and then Mr. Harvey, and then we go down the list, right? So Mr. Walker, please go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Du, and congratulations, Kwame, on your promotion. I have an extensive question. I'm a truck driver just like yourself, and my trucking card was hacked for $2,300 about a month and a half back. And the way that the world is moving with self-driving cars like Tesla and Waymo and self-driving automated trucks, how do you think, in your professional opinion, how do you think, how will cybersecurity affect the trucking industry as you been in cybersecurity for this time? Thank you.
Well, the tracking job, without a tracking system in America, America cannot move forward. But then I see is that based on my transition, based on how energetic when I'm at the age of like 50, 55, would I be able to be physically lifting those weights and then going up the stairs and, you know, leaving home by 2 a.m., being on the road to like a month, you're not back home, which is not a lifestyle that I wanted to live. And then looking at these new technologies coming up, if you're a truck driver, you have to be very careful because you might be able to be driving when the truck comes into the town for you to do the delivery. But like, let's say like you have a load going from maybe New York to like Minnesota. I know for sure the computer system will be able to drive the truck all the way to Minnesota. Your job is just like 6 hours, just take it from a yard and go and deliver because it's in the city, which is going to limit any truck driver or not giving you that much of overtime or to make the money. So if you have the opportunity to even be the IT guy to manage the truck from driving from New York to Minnesota, then you'll be sitting behind in your house, behind your desk and be doing the same job, making good money, than you spend your time behind the wheels. So that's what I'll say. So it's better to choose IT than being a truck driver because the future is not, I can't say the future, like, but there's not going to be that much money in there. That's how I saw it.
All right, thank you, Kwame. Brian, please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Congratulations, Kwame, on your role. Proud of you, and wish you much success and blessings over you. My question is, you said earlier there was a question that you kept getting in some interviews that you could not answer. We need to know that question because we're going to be interviewing soon one day, and we want to know if that may be a common question that they may ask so that we don't get stumped up.
The question was, that was my first question that the interviewer asked me. The question was, if you woke up one morning and then your company or somebody, whoever you're working for calls you and say that our network is down, what would be your approach? Where will you start from? And then I know for sure the answer I gave to the ladies was all like BS, but then I had to say something. So that is a research, that's something that you have to put under your belt, and then maybe one day we can go over and have answers to that question.
Thank you.
All right, Kwame, thank you for your answer. We'll go to Pat.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Edu. I have like 4 questions. The first question is, I'm sorry because I came a little bit late tonight. So I want to ask, which class did he take from Eretmis Academy? That's number 1. Number 2, how many job interviews did you do before you get this job? And also the last one is, do you have any cybersecurity certificate? Thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, sir. I took the entry-level class with Dr. Edu, and then now working on the PCI. And then I went to about 5 interviews before this one came up.
Any certificate?
And I have a security class. Now working on CISSP.
Okay, good, thank you. So let me just like follow-up question. So so the current job is about the PCI DSS, right?
No.
Okay.
this current position entails everything: policy writing, PCI DSS issues, malware, anything. Like, it's just like whatever comes your way for the day is what you have to research on it and give you a solution.
And did you get the Security Plus certificate before you got a job or after you got the job?
I had it before I got the job, but then what I'll say is that me getting the job, it was not based on the Security Plus that I had, but the knowledge base that I was able to speak to the questions that the director was asking me and how comfortable I was. You know, like sitting one-on-one, face-to-face over a coffee, and I was able to, any question that he brought up, I was able to speak to it, and then he felt like this guy understands where he's coming from. And then I think he asked me 1 or 2 questions about PCI, and I was able to answer. And then he's like, okay, we are good to go. That's it.
All right, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Eliku, please, you can ask your question.
Thank you, Kwame, and thank you, Dr. Edu, and the other 2 gentlemen who facilitated. I do have a question. Maybe the last question might be, Dr. Edu might be in a better position to respond. The first one is, how did you prepare for the interviews? And then do you have like certain questions that kept coming in most of the interviews you did? And then for you, Dr. Edu, do you have access to some questions you could share? I have, I think, 2 interviews coming up and I kind of have no clue what they're going to ask me. I should, but I don't know why. So I'm asking if I could get some knowledge, information in that area. Thank you.
Well, I would say this before Dr. Edu comes in and finish it up. I would say that from the experiences that we had prior to some of the interviews that we went, and although they were asking us the questions that the ones that you could not answer, we come home, write them down. As soon as I get out of the interview, I would jot those questions down so that I wouldn't forget. And then when I come home, we just sit down and then dig into what he meant or what we were supposed to have said that we didn't know, or if we did, we answered it right or wrong. Then through that, we also add with Dr. Edu, this question came up and this is what I said. Was this something that could have been better? Then he also said, okay, this one came up. Well, you did it. No, he would never say you got the wrong answer, but he would say, oh, well, you did it, but then you could have put in it this way. So next time, if it comes up, put it this way, and that's how we're able to go through. So by the end of a couple of interviews, you know, it was just on the paper, but we had a couple of questions there. I know I answered this question. They asked me that, they had me that, and there was no any. And through the class that we're taking, you know, every chapter that you take, the interview has a list of questions that you have to go through the entry-level class, and those were very helpful too.
All right, and to add to this, Elikum, so for anybody in either PCI class or CISSP or any of the training, right? If you have job placement assistance as part of it, right? So what I tell people is you shouldn't be going to interviews without me knowing, right? If you have an interview, reach out 3 days or 4 days before. We'll prep, do a mock interview, you know, give you some of the questions, go through and, you know, let you know some of the pointers. So mostly you reach out and our first thing I'll ask for is the job description, right? And then we will go over the job description. So that is part of, we have job placement as part of all the main courses, but sometimes like people forget, you know. I'm pretty sure, Elikum, like on our first encounter, you were made aware job placement is part of it. So when you do get an interview, or before you even start applying, as part of the job placement assistance, you get a resume, a cover letter that we are going to make a new one for you and send it your way, or give you a template for you to follow, right? And when you're done editing your template, if you don't make one for you, you bring it back for us to QA, QC and sign off on it. And then when you do get an interview, an invitation for an interview, we always go over and do a mock interview with you, right? So if you are going to an interview or you are in any of these courses and I don't know about it, then you are wrong. Okay, so always bring it to attention. We are here to help. Go ahead.
Well, and then what I would say is that I remember when I was going for this interview, I spoke to Dr. Adu around like 12:30 to 1 in the morning, like in the night, I would say in the night time. And then he gave me some 1 or 2 to go over. And by 6:37, Dr. Adu had already given me some responses to some of the stuff that I didn't know. So my issue was that I was like, I'm bothering him. No, I just spoke to him around like 12 to 1. And in the next 3 hours, I'm going to just badge him again. But man, this man is there for you anytime, anywhere. So please just give to him and he'll help you out.
All right,
thank you, Dr.
Kwame.
Thank you very much for that service, though.
Yeah, thank you. So what most of you don't know is I travel a lot, right? So maybe by the time you are calling me state time, it will be 12 a.m., but I'll be in Europe. So it's probably going to be in the afternoon or like early morning for me or something like that. So I'm always around. So you can get me almost at any time. So if you need help, I mean, everybody knows where to find me. And, you know, very soon, Captain AJ will put on the blast too. So now everybody will be chasing Captain AJ too as well, not just me, right? So Elicom, if you have any, so let me know. Send me the job description once we're done here, and you get some. We have like a template, 3 or 4 templates of interview questions, but not just the template. The most important is taking you through and you know, kind of getting that mindset, you know, because you have to be in a certain mindset to understand and know what is going on during interviews, right? But we're not going to bore everybody with job placement assistant strategies and stuff. So we'll talk offline on that one. Okay. Randall, please go ahead.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you. Kwame, I simply want to express gratitude to you because somehow I feel like I know you because I've listened to all the PCI, you know, training, and you're in a lot of the classes. And I know you must be a very strong-willed person. And I'm from the trucking industry at some point in the freight brokerage and UPS, et cetera. So I know how tough it can be. So I'm just saying congratulations, thumbs up to you, and thanks for giving back to the community.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Randall. If I get the next name right, Anisis. Maybe I'm getting it wrong.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you.
But the real name is Kafui, though. So I just want to start by thanking Kwame for sharing your experience. I kind of have a similar experience. I mean, I've been in the supply chain space for about 18 years. I mean, actually, along the line, I had the pleasure of working with Captain AJ at some point. So really good catching up with him here again. My question may be to Kwame or even to anybody on the Eretmis stuff. So I decided to switch because my wife actually got a job in cybersecurity, and I saw how her work-life balance was improving, and I also decided, well, I want to switch. So I took some classes in basically RMF, but my first job I got was in GRC, right? Okay. And it was difficult trying to relate the two. So my question to you is, in the list of courses for Eretmis, I mean, which courses would you suggest that I take, you know, to kind of beef up my skills? What is helping me now is just my soft skills. I mean, I worked in the corporate space for a while, so at least basic project management and, you know, interaction and communication, I have that on my side. But when it comes to the cybersecurity stuff, I'm still struggling. So among your courses, which ones do you think would be good for me to take right now, just to beef up my skills and feel more comfortable in the cybersecurity space?
Okay,
I will take this one.
Yeah, so I think Kwame was kind of smiling because he was kind of in the same boat. Kwame's first cybersecurity training was RMF.
Yes.
But so let me, I think I've said this a couple of times, right? If RMF is good, is for the government side, But the problem with RMF is like you trying to, so RMF, I would say, is kind of an intermediate level area in cybersecurity. So without any foundation, if anybody teaches you RMF and they tell you that in cybersecurity you are good, that is not the truth. And when you find yourself on like in a job or in a role, you run into issues because you don't have that foundation. You don't have a good working knowledge of all the areas that you have to have a good working knowledge of, right? And funny enough, like the issues that you might encounter on the job, what maybe probably what you say is an issue is probably like a kindergarten question in cybersecurity, right? Because the foundation is not there, it looks like a huge problem, right? So for us, the cybersecurity entry-level course is going to be the good starting point because that is what will help you bridge from, you know, your low level, like no knowledge or no background in cybersecurity to where you can start working just like Kwame is doing, right? And it covers everything that you need in terms of knowledge base. It also shows you some of the tools that you are going to encounter on the job and how we have our hands-on training set up. We cannot go over all the tools in cybersecurity. Every day there are new tools that are being coming up, that are being, you know, brought to the market. But all the tools, they follow the same path, right? So we take you through a very rigorous, because we walk you through to set up your own cybersecurity lab. So you are installing, it's not working, you are configuring and stuff. So we take you through all those like hurdles to help prepare you that way when you encounter any tool, you know how to go about it, right? So our entry-level course is going to be the right and the best option for you because, and also speaking to what you're talking about, from RMF to a GRC job, there is more in GRC than just RMF, right? And GRC will touch on almost every area of cybersecurity. So I'm not surprised you're going to run into that issue, and most people also do. But if you have a very good working knowledge in cybersecurity, you can take the RMF documentation and you'll be able to read it and understand exactly what is going on, right? Without that, with no background, if anybody teaches you RMF, and you know, even if you find a job, you're still going to run into issues, and the issues are not going to be something that you couldn't have handled. It's just that the knowledge and the skills are not there, right? And even from RMF to any certification, so people will take RMF and they will go to take Security Plus. And if you are truthful to yourself, Security Plus is going to kick you behind very, very well, because you know you don't know anything on it. And some people will still manage to scale it because they will just memorize questions from test dump centers, you know, and then pass it. But you know, taking an exam that you couldn't understand a single question on it, and just looking for answers and passing, I mean, that is not really going to help you, because the goal, if you want to make this a career and not just try to get a job and get fired in 6 months, then you should take time to really, you know, dig in and, you know, build a solid foundation on which your career is going to thrive, right? So I hope that answers your question, Kafi.
Yes, that's really good. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And I think Peter will be the last question in here, and then Michael will help us with the questions in the chat. Go ahead, Peter.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Kwame.
Thank you.
I will take this opportunity to also recommend you for your role. I mean, it's a challenging. You've made it to us, and this also tells us that at least we can also do it. We can also do it. And Kwame, my question goes into with your position now. I could see you've run to the various, I mean, some sections of the cybersecurity that practically you are the best person to give us some information. Now, my one question goes on, if you could help me with the PCI, I mean, with the organization, definitely you run to PCI DSS section in which you work with. You can help me with the daily activities that you do on PCI when it comes to PCI DSS, the daily activities. And let's say if you happen to interview me, the best knowledge that you expect from me when it comes to the PCI DSS. That's the one question. And then two, I know you've been working in the vulnerability management too. So and then working with some tools. So let's say when you happen to work with your team and it comes to remediation, I know you are in the section too. So in the practical, in your work, so when it comes to the remediation, what exactly do you do when it comes to remediation, being the remediation team as a manager too? Thank you.
I will start with the PCI. You know, when it comes to the PCI and you're working with the company, then there's so many questions. PCI is broad, but then you have to know, are you a merchant or service provider, what level you are. You have to go through a lot of processes to know what you're doing. Like, are you like a level 1 or level 4? Do you have to do a QSA, you know, SAQ, like self-assessment questionnaire? So based on what company that you're working for, and then what requirements you will need as to what you will be needed by the QSA when it comes on board, and is it required for the QSA to be on your job site, or it's just a questionnaire that you have to fill out and then send it over? So basically, when it comes to PCI, I think Dr. Edu will be able to speak into it more than I would say, because from my end, what I know is that we do like a self-assessing questionnaire. So we have a couple of questions, and then you answer what we have, what we do, and then if possible, we have an agent that will help us. We'll come in with some, we will just come in to see some of the evidence that we have, like how often some policies requirement, how if you have to change your password, how long do you have to change it? Is it like a quarterly? Those things you have to be looking at them and stuff. So, but Dr. will throw more light to that. And then when it comes to the vulnerability aspect, as a cybersecurity analyst, my company deals with third-party vendors or other third-party groups that they do most of the scannings, and then on their end, they do some of the analysis. But the one that needs more detail, or they think is gone, then we need to more, like we have to, on our side, we have to make sure we reach out to a staff member to find out their computer is not infected and stuff like that. Those are some of the those ones that comes in as a ticket. And then when it comes in, I have to go over the ticket. If I don't understand it, do a little bit of research to see what is it talking about, and then put in a ticket, and then send it over to the SOC team. They are mostly the back end hands-on guys that will do the remediation and everything, make sure the computer or the endpoint device is not infected. If it is, we take it off our network and then replace it with a new one. That's our policy. We don't really want to just clean it up or do a scan and make sure it's kind of like safe or not. Once we see there's anything infectious, we just have to take the whole computer out of the network and put in a new one for whoever is working with that. So, and then after that, as I explained at first, I have to follow up to make sure the ticket that came in is also resolved, and then I will answer back to them. But I think that I do also be able to put in more to this question.
Thank you so much, Kwame. In fact, you've answered, I could say 80% of my question. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, then. Lisa, please go ahead.
Yes, hello, good evening, everyone. I just had a quick question. I'm in the process of really just interviewing. However, I haven't gotten any responses or any callback from any recruiters so far, or any serious ones at least, that's like leading to maybe having an interview with a hiring manager. So I don't know if there's any tips or any website that I should focus on more in terms of like applying and all of that. That was my question.
Well, I would say the website is Dr. Edu City here. You have to know what resume you have, what kind of job you're even looking for, your job search, what titles or what position are you applying for, and does it conform to your resume? Do you even understand what is on your resume? That's one thing that I will let people also, from my experience. I was going back and forth with Dr. Edu most of the time. But one day he told me, like, you know what, you have learned couple, but I want you to understand every word, every expression on your resume. And what is it about? If you don't understand it, find out what is it. So if you go for the interview, they're going to be asking you, you said you did this, you did that, you did that. Can you speak to it? And because you have read about it, you have done your research, then you can flow. But if you don't have, and you just put anything that you don't even know is on your resume, but you think you say you are saying you have done it, then it becomes a problem. But Dr. Edu, continue from there.
All right, so I think one thing that we missed also is I have this question for Kwame. So for the entry level, we have internships workshop that we do. And for most of you who might be thinking, you know, I don't have any working experience, or aside just learning the concepts and maybe some hands-on, you know, how can I speak to something that I've really done, like a project that I've done in cybersecurity? And our workshop and internships, they are meant for that, right? So I'll ask Kwame, how well the internship and the workshop we did, how well did it help you during the interview and also on the job? You know, how are you benefiting from
that? Dr. Edu, I would say that this company has like a bunch of tools that they use. And then on their end, once you come in, they are not taking you as a rookie. They think you know what you're doing, and you should be able to just hit the floor running. But then with the internship from Dr. Edu's class that we took and the exposure he gave to us, even if, let's say we are using a Splunk, even if the tool is quite different, like we have something like an active wolf that we use to manage our network, but then it's in the same, like similarly, you know, so with the information that you get from the internship, you can infer, and then with a little bit of training, you can understand what they really want you to do. And then you can go by that format within maybe a week or two, you should be able to be up to date with what they, because it's just maybe a vendor who just took a platform and just took it with some what to do, what process to get to where, and it's not that of a different from what we have in our internship. So I think we should take the internship very serious. Sometimes you lose very boring and you try one or two, you are not getting it, and you kind of like, oh, okay, I won't even bother to do it again. I just look over it. But then if you don't have the experience and you go to the job, then they call you like, hey, we want you to run this SQL, and then you be like, what is SQL? We want you to maybe do this mmap. Dr. Edu taught us mmap, but then because we didn't do it, then you kind of like, ooh, you'll be shaking. So whatever is being taught, the tools that he's teaching us, we should be able to be serious to at least, if you don't understand, please contact him and he will help you out. And he has helped me a lot. You can, you know, he's here. He knows what I was going through, but with his help, look at me now speaking like a man, you know. So thank you, Dr. Edu.
All right, before Eliko comes in, I will still address Lisa's question. So Lisa, if you can give me some background, what job titles are you looking for, right? And like which area are you looking to work in, or are you just looking for like any job title? And then also, so like if you answer that, then I'll be able to help out.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I'm more so looking into SOC analyst as well as compliance, third-party compliance analyst. Those are the ones that I'm more so focused on.
And like, what training have you done so far? Are you, trying to break into cybersecurity, or you're already in IT?
Yeah, I'm in IT. I am a Scrum Master, but I'm trying to pretty much go the cybersecurity route just because I did AWS, but I want to focus on cloud security, but I want to get into security first, and then hopefully by the grace of God, just go through cloud security.
Okay, so all you've done in security in terms of training is AWS.
No, I did a cybersecurity, well, SOC analyst training. Yeah.
All right, so when you are trying to break into the industry, right? You know, we have blue team, red team, purple team. Now there are like all kinds of colors of teams. But so for anybody who is not familiar with it, with the blue team side, that is the defense side, right? Blue team is doing defense, red team is doing offense, and offense entails penetration testing, ethical hacking, and all those, right? When you are trying to break into the industry, based on your background, so if you used to be a programmer, you know, you have some, you are really comfortable with programming and stuff, then you can go the route of ethical hacking. It's very easy and an easy fit for you, right? If you don't have any such background, then you can go to the blue team, which entails SOC analyst, cybersecurity analyst, risks analyst, information assurance, like the job titles are, right? Now, for trying to break into the industry, mostly I'll say, aside maybe going on the penetration testing side, which will need some, like a lot of running around behind, you know, a very seasoned ethical hacker to get some more experience before you can, you know, be on your own. On the blue side, you can easily, you know, it's easier to break into the blue side because most of your soft skills and or you being in IT for a while, like most of the things will apply easily. But what I would say is also don't limit yourself to job titles. Right, that is why it is good to have a good working knowledge when you want to break into the industry. That way you can work in, you know, different job roles, because most of these job roles, what you do, they are kind of similar. They just put a job title on it, right? So if you limit yourself to just SOC analyst because that is what you've learned and that is all you know, you have to get a broader foundation, right? So I'll tell you, just to give you like a better perspective, if you take the exams objectives for Security Plus, if you go through like the exams objectives, they cover almost all the working areas of cybersecurity. So if you use that as the yardstick, if you're doing self-study or you want to learn anywhere, if you have a good working knowledge of those, you know, areas, you should be able to work in any area without limiting yourself to SOC analyst, right? So because whoever, like when you are taking like a course and it is very specific, mostly if you don't have a background already in security, they will miss some of the, you know, foundational knowledge that you need to be able to function effectively. Now let's come back to interviewing or applying for jobs. Some tips for everybody. When you're applying for jobs on all these websites, Indeed, now there's a lot of like websites, job application, job sites, right? Indeed, LinkedIn, you know, the very common ones, Glassdoor, Dice, there's a whole list of them, right? Now, a trick to this is that recruiters or recruiting companies, what they do is they go to job, like the original job websites. So they'll probably go to Amazon, they'll go to West Fargo, they will look up maybe security jobs. They will copy and paste that on LinkedIn, on Dice, on Glassdoor. So when you apply, you're applying to the recruiting agency, not the company, right? And they will vet you before they take you to the company. Now, to cut that middleman out, a trick to it is if you go to Indeed and you search for cybersecurity jobs within your area, when you see the jobs, if the companies are there, right? Or if it is, even if it was posted by the company itself, when you see the company, maybe it's Eretmis Inc. looking for a cybersecurity analyst, go directly to Eretmis Inc.'s website and go to their careers or job openings, look for that job and apply for it, right? So that is a way to cut recruiters and middlemen out, because now your resume get in front of the hiring manager, so you don't have to go through some, you know, BS interviews. That is not going to get you anywhere. Only going to get you frustrated and make it look like you are not doing something right? So that is a way to cut the middleman, right? And now also for your resume, for it to be able to get in front of a hiring manager, for bigger companies, resumes will go through an automated system, and the system will pick keywords, you know. So if you don't have the keywords they are looking for in the job description, yours wouldn't be shortlisted. So nobody is going to see it, right? It was just going to end at that level. So a way to go about that is to make sure for whatever job you're applying, you have the keywords from the job title in your resume, right? So when it has to go through an automated job application system, your resume is going to be part of the ones that will be shortlisted for a hiring manager or a real person to look at. So that is a way to go around it. I think for you to get the interviews, yes, that is the way to go around it. And also for the jobs, when you're applying for it, make sure you tailor your resume to the job description, right? If you really want an interview, rather than just having one. I mean, there are two ways and tricks to it, but the easiest way is a lot of work when you have to tailor your resume to your to the job title for every single job. But if you do that for a while and you are building and adding on to it, it will get to the point where you have a really big master resume where it has almost everything on it, so you can use it to apply for many jobs. Right? So if you are not getting a hit or you are not getting an invitation for an interview, then it means you have to work on your resume, because that is the first point of call, or like your first contact with your potential hiring with your potential company that is going to hire you, right? So that is the first thing they see. So if you are not getting hits, you have to work on your resume, right? And then also your job application, you have to be more innovative about it, or go outside the box. And that is what I just told everybody. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Elikum, please go ahead, and then Charles.
Okay, so I had this question because one of the things I have a profile on LinkedIn. Unfortunately, my employer goes on LinkedIn and, like when they're prospecting for candidates. So I really don't want to look like I'm looking for a job. And what should I do? Because some people say they've been made offers or been approached because of their profile on LinkedIn. But I feel like I'm constrained. I cannot do that at the moment, just because I don't want to be seen by my employer, like I'm looking for a job.
Yeah, okay, so good question. And I know why you're asking that. Some people on LinkedIn, on LinkedIn, they have this green thing that says, I'm open to work, or I'm open for, I see that to be desperate. So frankly, I don't recommend it, right? It's not that, like that tag is not what is going to let people be more merciful or to try to give you an opportunity, right? And also for people who are working elsewhere, you don't want your employer to see you are open to work whilst you are working for them. So, but you don't really need that to be able to land any job, right? Make sure, and also for some people also say, maybe I'm a nurse and currently maybe I have these skill sets, I've gone through Eretmis, I have the knowledge and skill, I've done the internship. How do I, put that on there? Right now that we can discuss that behind the scenes, because for everybody on here, I don't think we can just define you by one thing, right? Professionally, some people probably were pilots and then they switched to become medical doctors, and then they were bored, they became nurses, and they were bored, they became truck drivers. And so they have all these skill sets, right? So depending on the job you're applying for, now you are going to tailor your resume to that specific skill sets that you have. So but on LinkedIn, we've kind of generalized it where it's just that one thing that you're putting on there. But there's a way around it, but you don't have to put on there that you are open for employment. But you can still apply for jobs on LinkedIn, right? I think like the only thing for your employer to know that you're looking for a job is to tag yourself that you are open. So you don't have to do that. And like that is not the only way. You can apply for jobs and still get interviews and go to interviews and stuff, like you have interviews now. So you don't have to tag yourself that you are open.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Charles, go ahead.
Okay, good day, Mr. Good evening, everybody. Actually, I am into IT. I've been into IT support, desktop support, help desk, end user support for a very long time, over 4 years. And I've been doing it, and seriously, I want to break through. Like, okay, there's a particular set of payments you would gain when you do support, desktop help desk, and everything. So I want to break to cybersecurity, and I'm still going now. Okay, this is because I later knew that cybersecurity is broad, very very broad. The hacking, the other parts, and everything. So something happened one time when I was starting. I when I remoted into someone's system. She's a friend though. I was helping her in my workplace. So I was helping her. I did everything. I said, "Oh, please, can you help me do this software?" I don't know. I said, "Okay, we don't do it." So I was nice though. So, but my nice wanted to put me in trouble. So I just went to Google. I tried and I installed. When I installed the software, our security team immediately sent out an email that there was a software that was downloaded that wasn't supposed to be downloaded, malware and everything. Immediately they asked and I said it was me and I explained why. I said, okay, that laptop was not used anymore. We have to send another laptop to her immediately, like stop it. So she got a new uh laptop. So I was curious. I said, wow, that's a very good it's a very good security alert. So I would like to I would want you to tell me where can I start from, you know, where to start from to break into security. So that's what I put it. Thank you.
All right, Charles. So for us, you can start with our free cybersecurity for beginners course. That gives you a very good intro and background into cybersecurity. And then also on our YouTube channel, most of the cyber chats that we've had, they are literally like courses that we would be selling. They also give you really good info. So mostly I'll encourage you to take a look at all those free courses to get a better understanding and situational awareness of security and what it entails before you even enroll in any paid course, right? But once you've done all that and you are certain and you are ready, our cybersecurity entry-level course is going to be the best starting point for you. It's going to get you from where you are right now to where you can start working as a cybersecurity professional. So, but before that, go to our website.
I did already.
Oh, you took the free course already?
Yeah.
Okay. Then the entry-level course now is going to be your next step, and that is going to take you through from where you are to where you can start working as a security professional. Yeah. So there are some questions in the chat. If Michael is still on here, if Michael can help with the questions in the chat. Okay, so okay, go ahead, Michael.
All right, going through the questions here. So someone wants to know, what is your opinion about a SOC analyst job? Not too sure if you already answered that, but it's one of the questions here in the chat. They want to know what you think about the SOC analyst job.
Okay, so SOC analyst job, just like any other role, is good. I mean, if the money is good, then it's good, right? So SOC analyst job is okay, but mostly, like I keep saying, you have to be all-rounded, right? So in terms of, I'm mostly particular about knowledge, right? You have to have a good working knowledge of all the areas of cybersecurity. Don't just limit yourself to, I'm just doing SOC. So that is all that I'm going to learn about, because in the organization, whether you're a SOC analyst, whether you are the security analyst, you are the PCI or the RMF guy or girl, overall you're a cybersecurity professional, right? So you don't want them to run into you and probably just want to pick your brain on something that happened and you have no clue. you have to have a good working knowledge of all the areas. So yes, but SOC analyst is good.
All right, thank you. So someone wants to know if you do offer any GRC training at your academy.
Yes, everything that we do falls under GRC as well. So if you have no background, you start with cybersecurity entry-level course. PCI training that we're doing falls under GRC. So I mean, GRC is broad. It has a lot of, but everything that we do go to support GRC. So, but if you want to take the compliance side of GRC, then the PCI DSS training is right in under GRC. And then also governance and risks. When you take entry-level course or CISSP or any of these courses, at least you do something that touches on governance and risks. So.
All right, thank you, Dr. Du. So the next question is for someone who has no cybersecurity background, like zero cybersecurity background, what class should they start with first? Any of the classes that you offer that is good for someone who has zero cybersecurity background?
Yeah, so first of all, start with a free course, Cybersecurity for Beginners. That way you have a good situational awareness, you know what you're getting yourself into. And then your next step is going to be the cybersecurity entry-level course, right? So we don't encourage you just jump into the entry-level course. Take the free one first. Look on YouTube, get some of the cyber chats that we've had, to have a better understanding before you even try to make any investment or try to get into any course, right? And then also not just look around as well. When you go through the entry-level course, we give you some resources, the free cybersecurity for beginners. We give you some resources so you can do some research on your own to make a better decision, right? Because maybe what if all that we're telling you is BS? So we encourage you, to be a cybersecurity professional, one of the underlying traits that you want to develop, if you don't already have that, is to research and find out about stuff on your own, right? That way, because we can't show you everything, under cybersecurity. Some of the things might be new to everybody in cybersecurity. So you have to learn that, aspect of researching and, getting to learn about stuff, attention to detail, all those are some of the soft skills that will help you excel. So if you want to break into the industry, you come to us, Dr. Edu is telling you something. Don't just take my word for it. Do your research. And we give you the tools to do your research. So that way you can make a better informed decision. Right? So that is what I have to say about that. But the entry-level course, after you've gone through the free training, is going to be the next stop.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Du. So the next question is one of your students actually in the coaching program and also one of the internship programs actually needs help with your resume. So they want to find out if you can provide help in writing resumes.
Yeah, so all they have to do is just reach out, send an email with the resume they have currently, and we will be able to help them out, give them like a template or do one for them.
All right, thank you so much. And I believe this one might be for you, Kwame. So they want to know about 74 people right now. One of them wants to know how long did it take you to get your job offer, and how long did it take you to take the class? So how long did it take you to get your job offer, and how long did it take you to go through Dr. Du's class?
Oh, you are muted, Kwame.
I would say like that do class took us like about 6 months, because at first we were still like looking at elsewhere. So the actual concentration was like 3-4 months. That's where it got us the job. And then the job offer was just like a shot. It wasn't like that money. The first one that came up was what we took.
All right, thank you. So yeah, I went through all the questions in the chat. I believe that is it. Yeah, so I think that's it. And we'll give the floor if there's any other questions.
Okay. Yeah, so Kwame, I think what they wanted to ask was, after the completion of the course, how long did it take you to get a job? I think that was what the person.
Oh, okay. Well, I would say like the concrete answer is that, you know how you were guiding me to go through all that, and I was just being difficult, but then it took me like 3 months to take the course, and after I was able to speak to most of the questions, it was not more than, I think, about 3 months to also that I secured a job. When I started seriously putting in stuff and all that, then 3 months time I had a job.
All right, so it took you roughly like 4 months to complete the course, and then from after completion, it took you another like 3 months to land a job.
Yeah, but when I started concentrating within like 2 months, that's when you called me, I was able to speak to everything, and then I got a job.
Okay, so just a little.
I was just slacking.
Kwame wasn't taking it seriously at first.
I was slacking.
The 3 months wasn't 3 months. When he got serious, I think it was less than even a month.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Brian, please go ahead. And that will be the end of the questions we have for tonight.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, real quick. When you were speaking on SOC analysts, if I'm not mistaken, you taught on SOC about a month and a half ago. Do you have to have CPA under your belt to be a SOC analyst? Am I correct?
Okay, so good question. There are like two different SOCs in cybersecurity, right? What we talked about was the SOC that is a framework. So that is the service organization controls. What they are talking about here is being a SOC analyst is the who knows the other SOC? Anybody? So what is the difference between the two SOC? Because I even explained that.
Sarbanes-Oxley.
Say that again, please.
Sarbanes-Oxley.
Nah, Security Operations Center.
There's a report. No, the other one has a report. One of them has a report that you have to submit.
So, okay. I just want, I think like Frank got that. So Frank, tell me like the meaning for the two. So one SOC is Security Operations Center. One SOC is Service Organization Controls. Right, and they are all SOC, right? So they all go with that acronym SOC. Yes, and like Mr. Harvey is talking about SOCs, but with the X, with X for xylophone, right? So like that is also different. Like that is a 7 Oxley. But when you talk about the XO, that the SOC, we have the SOC. That is what we talked about. Right now, Security Operations Center is a center where we have a bunch of tools that we are using to monitor the traffic. Right. So when we say SOC analyst, you are going to be the one watching screens and monitoring the traffic. Right. So but the other one is the framework that we use to audit organizations. So that is where we have the SOC 1, SOC 2, SOC 3 reports. Right. So I get where the confusion is coming from, but in cybersecurity, for some reason, we have some acronyms, and I ran across. So I was in one high-level cybersecurity meeting, right? And the guy who was facilitating the meeting, he's been in PCI for almost 20 years. Somebody mentioned SOC, which SOC, and he had no clue about the other. Like all he knew was SOC. That was the service organization control.
Center.
He didn't have a clue about the service like center.
Ooh.
So like the security operations center. And like he wasn't trying to pretend he knew it. He just asked, "What is that?" And this guy has been in cybersecurity for 20 years, right? And he's like, "Well, I didn't know because I've never worked with it," right? So that also goes to say that you have to be confident enough that if you don't know something, just I don't know it. You are not going to know everything, right? But this is a really good point, Brian. At least now you've taken us back. We are really looking at the difference between the two SOCs that we have in security, right? So one is a framework, that we use to generate reports. One is a place that we work, right? So now they even have SOC as a service. So where we have some tools like Active Wolf and others that are serving as kind of like a SOC. So for organizations that cannot have a whole full-blown SOC team, they have like an automated system that they use for that. Right? So I hope that answers your question, Brian. Okay, Charles.
Thank you.
Yes, Charles, you go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. I was looking at your security and costs. So is it after the cost, will I get placed into a job after that cyber course?
Yeah. So
And
after
how
the
long?
entry-level course, we have job placement assistance where we help you find a job.
Okay, six figure.
Yes, of course. I mean, for our entry-level course students, the minimum salary we've had so far is 95K, and the maximum is 130.
Okay.
So it depends on where you
Thank
want
you.
to put yourself. Negotiation-wise, it's going to be you and the company, and you also have to know your value. I keep telling people, if you are going in and they are offering you 90 and you don't want 90, obviously you're not going to take it. So nobody should take anything above below 100. Yes, don't take anything. Don't say I want the experience, so I'm going to take 65. Or you are just, I mean, you are saving the money and doing yourself a big disservice, because then you're going to get stuck in that role. And chances for you. So how long do you think it's going to take you if you like they start you off at 80 and you want to jump to 120? It's not going to happen, right? So just go in with what there is money to be spent. There is, I mean, you saw New York just increase their budget by what, 35 million. If they are paying, let's say they are using 10 million of that to pay cybersecurity professionals to work for the states. If they are paying each cybersecurity professional 120, how long do you think it's going to take them to go through $10 million?
That's a lot.
But then if the New York State gets, breaks and they are hit with a ransomware, how much do you think it's going to cost them? Way more than they're going to spend. Yes, way more than they're going to spend on paying cybersecurity professionals. Right. So even if you're paying 100 and something, for the employer side, if they are paying 120, they are like the cost to them is probably like 150. Right. So if you're paying 10 people that for even a year is like $1.5 million, right? So it's 1.5 million. It has to be like over 10 years before they can blow through like 15 million. So there is money to be spent. So please ask for big money if you get a chance, right? Don't go for small, unless of course you don't like money. But I know everybody likes money. So money is what we use for everything. Somebody's asking, what should be the minimum salary to accept for PCI job? So for a PCI job, I won't take anything below 130. Yes, working with maths. Okay, so I appreciate everybody's time. Kwame, thank you very much.
I'm sorry, I'm just making sure we address everybody's questions. So there was one more question that I missed. It looks like some people are from different parts of the world. Someone wants to know if it's possible to get a remote job in one country.
Can you please repeat that? You are coming in broken.
Yeah, so someone wants to know if it's possible to get a remote job, like somebody can work remotely from a different country.
Work remotely in the United States?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, to work anywhere, regardless remote or in person, you have to have the necessary documentation in terms of work authorization to work in that country, right? So that is just for every country. So whether you are working remotely or you are working in person, the requirements do not change. So if you don't have work authorization in that country to work, obviously you are not allowed to work there, right? So that is working remotely or in person doesn't really change the requirements. So if let's say right now Kwame is working, he was doing remote, now he's doing hybrid. If he was doing purely remote, he can stay anywhere in the world and still work remotely because he's allowed to work in the United States. So, but if he wasn't allowed to work in the United States, he cannot, work remotely. Now Kwame is not allowed to work in the UK, I guess he cannot pick a remote job in the UK, right? So working remotely doesn't change the requirements. Yes, labor laws. So Kweku is talking about labor laws. Yes, so every country has their own, but for anywhere in the world, you have to have the permission to work there too. All right, everyone. If there are no more questions, I think, is Brian still up, or that was from previously? Okay, thank you, Brian.
Sorry.
All right, I appreciate everybody's time. Please check us on YouTube. You can subscribe to our channel that way. If this is the first time and you are not able to come to other meetings, you're always going to have the video when we upload it on there. So we're going to put it on YouTube as usual, and also support our YouTube channel that we are building up. It has really good info on there. Yes, there is a WhatsApp number. We will probably, can somebody put that in the chat for me? There's a WhatsApp number people were asking. So there's a group. We have a WhatsApp group, like a general cybersecurity group, and we have one for PCI also as well. You can send hi to the WhatsApp number that we have, and then we will add you to the group. You should let us know what group you want to join, and we'll add you to the group. George has a question again, and we'll address George, and then we'll end for tonight.
Okay, that's all. I wanted to ask, I have a couple of interviews next week. How can I be able to, when would you be able to have time so we can have some coaching on that? Because I've been trying to reach you, but I was not able to get any response yet.
George, I think you had some voice notes that were sent to you on the interview that you, well, like, am I right?
Yes, but I sent that I have another one, a second. It gave me an opportunity for a second one. So I was hoping to get your input on that.
Okay, we can talk offline.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So you are going to the next stage of your interview, right?
Yes. Okay, thank you.
All right, George. So with the number, let me see if we can put it right in here.
Dr. Do I just put the number in the chat, so you should be
okay.
good.
Thank you. I'm just gonna push this in there for everybody. Well, we appreciate everybody's time. Thank you very much, Kwame. Thank you, Captain AJ and Michael. We will meet again next week for another exciting episode of Cyber Chats. Please check out our free courses if you've not done so already on Eretmis Academy, and also on our YouTube channel. We have some really good info on there from previous Cyber Chats. We appreciate everybody's time. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, and we'll meet again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.